and Hollis.
We are in New York right now on my fire escape, and we are just going to answer some of the questions that you all sent us about Between Girls and, about ourselves. So, to get started, what is our major, age, and hometown? I was like, what? Whoever starts with their major.
I'm a sociology and anthropology major, and I go to school at Spelman College, which is in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm 20 years old, and I'm from Chicago.
I'm also 20. I'm also from Chicago. Hollis and I have very similar birthdays, actually. And
Scorpio season.
And
what do you think a scorpion does?
I don't know. And I study art and design at the University of Michigan, and I'm a LGBTQ plus and sexuality minor. Okay, next question. What skills do we bring? How is this?
A slash. There's a comma, but it's supposed to be a slash.
Are these even words?
The question is, basically, how does what we study impact how we go about doing Between Girls? So for me, I'm a sociology and anthropology major, as I already said, and in my major I do a lot of writing, it's very writing intensive, a lot of papers, a lot of research. And even in more academic spaces, storytelling and just communicating with people, especially with kind of a social justice perspective, which is what I do at school, is a research method. And so I think that that's something about it that I really enjoyed, that I definitely bring to the project with talking to people and being able to formulate questions and do a lot of our copy and writing, and definitely be doing more of that when we launch our website and things like that. So
I'm an art design major, so Hollis actually reached out to me to do Between Girls because I was doing a lot of photography in Chicago, and I guess it's kind of obvious, I do the design and photography for our brand and a lot of the branding of it, but my minor is in sexuality, so just being able to explore that through conversation. Sometimes art can be made without having dialogue to go off of, I guess, so it's very cool to be in Between Girls and to have people's experiences to create work from, and just to hear different people's stories. And I guess just my interest in creative fields and learning about sexuality and intimacy and identity allows me to just contribute to Between Girls in more of, I guess, an artistic way.
Yeah, definitely. But for all of the content that you all see and have seen so far, we make all the decisions together.
Yeah.
Because that way wouldn't make sense to do anything else. But yeah. The third question is, why did we start the project / how did we start, which you kind of already touched on. But the summer before, we both went to school, which at this point is 2 years ago, which is wild. I was doing a lot of work with social justice and health, especially health of young people in Chicago. And I was just doing a lot of extracurriculars and jobs surrounding that. And so I think just bodies and how people view themselves and treat themselves and all these kind of intersectional ideas were always really interesting to me. And I knew that I also was finding kind of smaller ways to explore how to approach those creatively, as opposed to through policy and politics, which is what I was used to. And so I kind of just went on a Google Doc rant, and I was I want to make a book because I've always loved coffee table books. Random fact. And I just think it's so beautiful how pictures and stories can come together and really just be something that's substantial and makes a difference to people. And I think when you hear people's stories, it's a way that it's easier to communicate to a lot of different kinds of people than other kinds of research or politics or anything like that. And so I came to Grace and I was do you want to do this with me? Is this interesting to you? And you can tell the rest.
Yeah, I was that summer I was definitely exploring intimacy with my friends and trying to capture that in everyday moments during the summer, just because for me summer definitely just brings out a more intimate side of myself and like other people. So I was working through documenting close friends and close people in my life in like very intimate ways, and how I wanted to like present that online to other people, and how I wanted to share that with other people. So Hollis asking me to join, it was already something I was like interested in, and I made zines. I haven't really made one in a minute, but I made a lot of zines when I was younger, and the idea of making like a book and a magazine was super attractive to me, and just being able to like continue the photography I already was doing while just like listening and learning things about other people's lives was just like really compelling. So yeah, we started that summer, and then we interviewed a bunch of people in Chicago. Some people we were close with, yeah, some we weren't that close with, but we didn't really even recognize what a change we were about to go through. Like, we didn't realize that because we had just graduated high school and we're about to go to college, like a lot of our identities were gonna like change, us and everyone we interviewed, and that like we weren't gonna have the time to like finish this like magazine in the summer. So it was kind of like the last interview we did was like a couple days before Hollis left, and then we went to college and attempted to continue working on it. But obviously, like when you're, you know, like right when you get to college, you're not trying to like work on projects
in like a really new space, doing new things, figuring out life, etc., etc. But I think, yeah, definitely what you're saying about starting at the time that we did was really important. And like currently on our profile, you're seeing profiles that have been done like years ago, and so it'll say like 17 and like now they're 20 or something like that. So it's really interesting as we continue the project for you to not only see the conversations that we had like 2 years ago, but also be able to see like updates about the people that you are reading about for a lot of people, like their pre-college or like younger lives.
And like a lot of people have changed, and so have we, like, which is really cool and interesting. And like we have already said, like we didn't realize at least I didn't realize what a pivotal time it was to interview people, and like how much their answers were going to switch, and that like we were documenting a like extremely important time in young people's lives, and that like people have said that to us multiple times, like, wow, that's so smart of you guys to do it this summer, and like we didn't really
we were like, huh?
I mean, like, we're not gonna lie and be like, that was intentional. Like, we were just kind of like, oh, this is the summer to do it, and now we're like, wow, we're grateful that we did it before so many people's identities like changed, or they just, you know, they just grew and evolved as people.
Yeah, for sure.
So the next question is, how did we meet? So we have a mutual friend, I mean, like multiple, I would say, like mutual friends, and I think we kind of like revolved around the same social circle in high school, but we never really like met. We went to different high schools. We just had one of my friends that went to school with me is one of Grace's really good friends from shout out Stella,
childhood into the present. Hey girl. So that's how we met. It was funny when we got these questions. I was like, do you all think we're dating? Like, is that what's going on? But like, I don't think so now. Date? Literally hilarious. But yeah,
in my room, talking about the zine we were gonna make.
Someone also asked us, who is someone that you look up to and why? Yeah, no, I don't have an answer.
You know, one person, this isn't even like a famous person at all, but I think these types of people I look up to, there was a sexologist that came to U of M for this thing that we have called Sexpertise, which is like a few days where it's very like sex-centered, health-centered, and it's like this giant name. It's like this giant like 2-day thing, but not a lot of people go, really. At least like when I've been to the events, it's not like a bunch of people are there. And one of the panels I just happened to go into was a sexologist at Michigan, and I'm blanking on their name, but like they she is a she, her pronouns, I know that, but she was just a sexologist that was very, I mean, even me just saying the pronouns, like she was very in tune to just not assuming anything about anyone. And like when she got up there, she was like, you know, I'm like a cis queer, I don't know what else she really said, but she was like, I'm a cis queer, like white older woman who uses she, her pronouns, and like I and I recognize that, and like this might be so confusing, but basically she was just a sexologist that was very aware, didn't assume anything about people, and just like gave this impeccable, I actually think I might have texted you, like this impeccable lecture just about like discovering yourself sexually. And whenever she talked, she would associate no gender to anyone, and like she just was very like so many of my professors at Michigan, even if they're like, I'm a feminist, I teach women's studies, whatever, it's like they just gender the F out of things, or literally like say stuff that I'm like you honestly shouldn't be saying that if you say you're a feminist. And this woman was just so in tune with that, and I dream of being so effortless like her. It seemed like it wasn't even a second thought. And she just like, you could tell everything she felt was genuine, and she wasn't trying to perform at all. And I think it was just like very inspirational. Sorry, that was like such a weird story.
No, that was a good answer.
Sense? I don't know.
No, it does make sense.
So people, it doesn't have to be, I don't know, like mine, I can't really think of celebrity, but mine are more like people I can truly see myself reflecting in, especially someone that talks about sex a lot. Like I was like, that's the dream, to be so effortless and also to be so well educated that it's like not a second thought, I guess.
I definitely think people, well, this is kind of general as well, but actually it's way more general than yours. You're talking about like a specific person. Shout out to person. We forgot your name. Comment down below, link, whatever. But I think I really admire people in, I guess, just like academic positions. Like you're kind of talking about that as well. But like I'm thinking specifically of like professors I have who have really made me feel like the things I have to say are important. And like valuable things to share, and really just like when you're in spaces where people curate spaces that really make everyone feel like what they have to say matters, and their perspective on like issues or their experiences are things that like we should be holding up and like valuing because we can learn something from them. And so I think for me that happens in a lot of like academic spaces, and also kind of like lecture, like extracurricular kind of events. And so we both admire a lot of people, I think, that are in the space of talking about health or like sex education and things like that, because those are spaces that I think are very people driven. And so I just think, and that also plays out in a lot of like social justice and like community organizing oriented people. And that's something that I really try to bring forward, like in the work that we're doing, and I think we both do, but just giving people a platform to share their own stories, because those stories are valuable. And I think that's really a skill, to be able to make people feel comfortable enough to share, and to make people feel like like we want you to share, but we're also not going to push you, because like we can still have boundaries in this conversation. And so those are the kinds of people that I think I really admire.
And I think that like easily goes into the next question of like what it's like to interview people. Like our goal is not to I mean, like, I'm someone that wants to know a lot of information about people, and like I want people
I have no idea. There's nothing to like validate that. I'm just like, no, we're both nosy, and it's a learned trait.
Like that. I hope no one's like, you're nosy, but like I just like want people to tell me like very intimate things. So sometimes like I just want to keep being like, tell me more, but like Hollis, like even yesterday or like, you know, in the past, it's just been like, you know, we're not their therapist. It's not our job to push people's not like push people's limits, but like to get them to talk about something that's that deep, you know. It's like it's really up to the person, and like we're not here to, we can't solve anything. All we do is listen. We literally just like affirm and listen, and just like hopefully make people feel like, you know, what they're sharing is worth sharing.
And I think it's really, I think we both just like have a lot of fun when we do the interviews. Like it's really interesting because, like we said before, some people we interview like are really close friends, and they're people that we know, people that we're comfortable with, people that during the interviews things things come up that we already know about them, but they're also, which we've been really grateful for, like complete strangers to us that have reached out to us and we've been able to talk to. And I think it's a really special experience just to be able to, and I do think it's a skill that we like have in our building, just be able to like honor someone's story and like especially when people invite us into their homes and like more personal spaces, being able to like be respectful and just to really like center them in the conversation. Like this doesn't have to be about every bad thing that's ever happened to you. This doesn't have to be a happy-go-lucky conversation either. Like it can just be whatever feels authentic for you in this moment. And I think even though for the people we interview, it's just one conversation, being able to, obviously both of us like being there for all of the profiles, it's really special to see when people respond and like comment on our post and respond to our questions, send us emails, DMs, whatever, saying like, this is a really important project, or this has been really impactful for me. And so I think I'm really getting off track, but for what it's like to interview people, it's a really special experience because you get to connect with people that you might not get to on an everyday basis in a space that like is meant to honor them and be positive for them. So I really like it.
Yeah, and just one of the main points of us creating this was like allowing people to have this like unlimited time frame to really just talk about themselves and to really explore that in whatever capacity they wanted to. And I think one of the points of us starting this was us reflecting on, you know, how many times a day does someone really ask you and listen without ever interrupting you about the things that really impact your life and how you view yourself.
With no objective.
Yeah, and so like it's just really powerful to hear what people say. And Hollis and I think have just grown immensely from just hearing other people's stories and I think it's also easier with both of us. Like we obviously have a very good dynamic, so I think people can tell that we mean no harm and we're just really there to listen, and that like it's not just one person coming into your house that you're like, ooh, it's just one person. It's kind of like this trio, or maybe like sometimes we interview two people, like just that dynamic is special too.
Yeah, it's like talking to a friend. We hope it makes people feel like they're talking to a friend.
Someone comments, they're like, it was not
they're like, hostile, terrible, disrespectful.
Joking. Okay. How to achieve, someone asked how to achieve confidence, which is a cute question.
Yeah. That I don't feel qualified to answer. I consider myself to be a confident person, but I think that journey is different for everyone.
I think you gotta find the thing that you feel confident in. You know? Like, and even if sometimes that like switches, I mean, like I'm very confident in my art, but I also like, you know, will shit on myself sometimes just because I'm like literally before this I was like, no.
And I'm like, Grace, it looks good. She's like, all right. Like, I guess I'll just post it. I'm like, I promise you it looks fantastic, but okay, that's on you.
Yeah, so something like that. No, I'm just kidding. But, you know, like, find your thing. Like, find what you're really excited about. And also, like, if you're trying to find confidence within your, like, wait, let me finish that. Like, find spaces that you feel, you know, like, you feel are intelligent and you're good and, like, you know, you have something to contribute, something to say, or that you're an active listener, like, something like that. But if you're trying to reach, like, get confidence, like, externally, kind of, like, you want to physically, like, feel confident. I mean, most people, it's so cheesy, like, fake it till you make it. I feel like that legit, if you just, like, you know, you're just like, shit, I look good, and I'm just gonna say I look good, you know, like, people might just feel that way, and then you never know what's gonna happen.
I think it's really, like, something I realized in my age I'm acquiring at 20 is so it's okay to like feel neutral about yourself or about like certain traits that you have. Like, we all have things about ourselves that we like hopefully at least one singular thing. Small, exactly, like you're like, my like right foot is sexy. That's awesome.
Got that bitch down.
I think it's okay for things that you, like, everything is not going to be perfect. You're like never going to like love every single thing about yourself, and you don't have to. Like, you can just feel okay about yourself and feel fine, and on top of that be doing things that make you feel good in order to feel better, if that makes sense. So I think just like putting yourself in spaces that you enjoy, like, it doesn't have to be, I think, like you were saying, if you're talking about external confidence or confidence in your body or things like that, I think everything you do to achieve that doesn't like have to be about your body. Like, you could just be like, I'm going to this like club meeting because I love this club, and that club is like more important than like how you feel about your legs, you know, just because it's like something you enjoy doing. So I think doing things to make yourself happy makes you more confident because you're just all around like doing well.
Yeah, I agree.
But there's no one answer. That was just one answer I contributed.
Yeah, maybe like look up a professional who talks about confidence, and I'm not really sure. Could we have predicted we would have been doing this like when we were younger? Could we have predicted this?
When we were 11, because we're young now. Definitely. I mean, no, because at least for me, like I couldn't have predicted that I would be doing this specific project, obviously, but I think a lot of my interests, like we already said, like both of our interests really, it may align with what we're doing now, and it makes sense considering the things we want to learn more about, but also the things that we were already investing time into learning, that we're doing this today. Like for me, I think it's kind of like a perfect storm of a lot of my interests. So
yeah, and I think I totally agree with that for myself, and I also think that I guess I could predict that I don't know, like this is such a specific project of Hollis and I really listening and being active listeners. And I think prior to this project, I don't think I would be so aware that like listening can be so powerful. And, you know, like that also taps into mindfulness, just like really being there to listen to what someone says. Even if maybe like in regular day-to-day, you're like, wow, this conversation's really dragging on. It's like, it's like, there's probably a reason they're saying so much, or maybe they don't have another space to say all these things.
Or to, like, what people talk about is a reflection of what they care about is something I think I've learned in the conversations.
And I think that that's been, like, that definitely has been helpful to me, and I think that my younger self, if I didn't do this, I don't know if I would be such a, I would hope, like, good listener, you know? Like, I feel like this project has allowed me to really just sit back and, like, really just hear what people have to say, but yeah, similar to Hollis, I mean, it makes sense that we're doing this. It's just a mix of everything that we're both passionate about.
It's definitely a skill builder. I agree with that.
Okay, last question. What do you see for the future of Between Girls?
I was actually talking about this with someone, like, the other week. Or they asked me this question. And for me, and I haven't told you about the conversation, so you're about to find out. You're like, terrible idea.
You're like, cut off the video.
So something that, if you've been on our Instagram page, which you probably have if you're seeing this, shout out, there's a section for like resources and things like that we're definitely working on adding more to and developing. But something that I really want to be able to do is, because this didn't start off as being something that we were going to do like online.
Yeah, like we said, it was supposed to be a book, but then like because summers went by, we realized if we didn't put the content somewhere, like the book was never going to be made. So in the future there might be a book, but like right now we're very happy doing this online.
And one day we're going to make a book, speak it into existence.
One day.
Acuvioasis. Is that it?
I don't know.
But they were asking me what I saw for like the future of this project, and I really want to be able to bring this one like in person. Like I want to be able eventually to like host some sort of events where, you know, so we can have these dialogues online and have them housed somewhere where people can easily access them anywhere. Like that's the benefit of like being online and being on like social media and websites and things like that, but also being able to really be able to like see and feel the impacts of that in real time. So being able to host events where we can, I guess, just like bring attention to and also potentially like provide resources for people that are dealing with a lot of like the topics that we're talking about. I think that a lot of the things that people open up to us about are reflections on their past and like things that they wish they knew or things that they had to go through a lot in order to learn. And I would love for this to be able to be a space eventually for like younger people to be able to look to and see as like a bank of resources for like the things that they're experiencing. And that's definitely like a goal that we will achieve. It's a dream for me.
I think with that event wise, like I think it would be really cool for us to be able to have group discussions and workshops and even maybe like group healing and, you know, mindfulness sessions about listening and just like really understanding maybe what your friend's telling you, or understanding like what this interacting with a stranger means. So like skill building, I guess, like events as well. And I also we're like hoping to launch our website soon, and we're also hoping to have merch, which would be cool.
I was gonna say that next. I'm like,
I don't know if merch is the right merch, YouTube, merch, like clothing, whatever, you know, like clothing that makes you feel good and like talks about the things that we're talking about. And that's definitely a dream, to also be able to like rep between girls and like what this means for more people to find out about. Well, that's all the questions. Thank you for watching. I know this was kind of long, but we appreciate all your questions, and we hope this was helpful, and we're gonna probably do this again sometime soon.
We'll definitely do it in the future. So if you have anything you want to ask us in the meantime, feel free to email us at itsbetweengirls@gmail.com. Don't laugh at me. I love receiving emails, so hit us up.
Do email. And if there's ever like a topic you want us to talk about at all, like you can just let us know. Like I said in a previous video, like Hollis and I are very, very open. We do this. We ask a lot of I would say society would say that the questions we ask are maybe invasive because we're not used to being asked them. So if you ever want to know anything, like we are pretty open book. So.
Let us know. We ask a lot of people. We know that we ask a lot of people in interviews, like you said, because a lot of the topics are like not common to talk about. So we also want you all to know that we're like willing to give, and also, for this to be like a reciprocal space.
We're not just like, tell us. Oh, I'm closed off.
Please, that's too far. I mean, some things might be too far, and we'll tell you, but it'll be fine. But those are all of our questions.
Okay. Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye.
Have a good day.